My third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm guaranteed to check like TSA. One in a million like Elise say. My words come with 50 million in the base. Set my intention, let it marinate. You can get a vibe dope and you get rid of weight. We come together, we need each other in a special way. Sun gazing, Pinot Glendy calcification. Sunbathing this neuromelanin activated. Daily affirmations of truth, no affidavit. Shadow work can be a big part of manifestation. I don't want it if it's tainted. And I'm not here to be famous. It's a lot that I came with. I did a lot of explaining. And I talk it how I live it. You don't evolve, then you fall for anything you giving. I'm giving everything that I got and what I'm missing. I'm working on myself, can be my worst critic. Yeah, can be my third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. High dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't hear nothing. Damn.
That's deep. My whole they muted my whole thing. So let's do that again. Shadow Work Sundays with self-love is therapy. You already know the vibes. Big energy. I am King Manifest. And it's the guy Khalil. We can't hear him. I don't know what's going on. He muted still. You know what I'm saying? But today we are tapping in on the love of a father. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. I can't hear you, D. Can y'all hear us?
Yeah. You hear me now?
Yup.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, bet. It's the guy, Khalil, man. And we back here for another episode, you dig, on Father's Day. And we finna counterbalance the frequency, you know what I'm saying? The collective frequency of this energy and bring it to a state of resonance because it's needed, you dig? It's definitely needed, you know what I'm saying? It's so much God has taught, we can't forget about the guys as well. So we here.
I say, and before I introduce, you know what I'm saying, the guys on the panel, I wanna let it be known that I see a lot of people wanting to attach with the trauma aspect of a father. They want to attach with him not being there. That's all that we all want to attach to. But there's some great fathers out here. And then also, even the father through the hell that we've been through, there was lessons and moments. So we got to hold on to the great moments. And so tonight, we're going to tap in with fathers that have been able to inspire great moments in their children's lives continuously. Both of these brothers are my brothers, you know what I'm saying, that I've been knowing for years. You know, I've seen them, I've heard them, I've actively, you know, been there when they're being fathered. You know, so we're gonna tap in. So first and foremost, I want to introduce Benaiah, which is this is Satellite Kid's brother. Y'all know Satellite Kid. This is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So y'all know we're keeping it in the tribe, you feel me? And he is a very gifted speaker, very gifted artist. A very real and direct friend, a very loyal being, and he's all about our people. So I'm honored to present Benaiah.
What's good, y'all? Benaiah, aka Uncle B, because I'm everybody's uncle. I ain't trying to be nobody's daddy, but my kid.
You feel me? And so, you know, obviously we have another king on the panel. You know what I'm saying? This is my blood brother. You know, we really been through everything in life, you know what I'm saying, in the mud, you know what I'm saying. I would say that I wouldn't even have my marriage, you know, today in many aspects, I would say, to waiting for this brother, you know what I'm saying. I would say he didn't save my life in numerous situations, you know what I'm saying. So He is obviously a artist as well. Everybody around me is very creative. You know what I'm saying? We tap in on that vibration. So he is an artist. He is a poet. You know what I'm saying? A father and a very real and outspoken friend. I'm honored to present King OC.
What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Big energy.
It's good to be on the Shadow Work Sundays.
Man, look, it's been a minute, you know what I'm saying? And so y'all understand this. Tonight, y'all know how we do, and I'm gonna let y'all know. We sitting at the table. You know what I'm saying? We all sitting on the couch, we kicking it. You know what I'm talking about? This is a tribe party, this is a conversation. We just kicking it. After live. You feel me? I'm gonna ask y'all a few questions. I already know that y'all are very real and very, potent. So this live is made to inspire the guys that maybe feel like they don't know how to be a father. You feel me? Maybe they feel like they've been a horrible father. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they can't be a father right now. But we finna fill in the gap. You know what I'm saying? So to start this off, I want to ask y'all, let's see. Let's start off on the light end. What do you love the most about being a father?
Most, being able to be a child for the first time. And actually being able to enjoy the moments that I felt like I was robbed of and be present in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 280 pounds. So to get on a swing is not something like I just want to do, right? But when my daughter want to swing, it's the funnest thing in the world to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I'm very honest with my kids, so like they get an hour, and I'm inside. I'm too hot. But just being able to really get to play with my kids and not have to worry about the rules or getting in trouble, just enjoying those moments.
That's what's up. Shoot, I mean, that's basically the biggest thing, being able to experience life with them day to day. Because, man, when my son family come over and I'm with my daughter, man, she love football. She'll play football with you real quick. You know what I'm saying? So she watch football on TV. She 2 years old and know when the plays is and everything. You feel me? So that's definitely one of the greatest things I love, because my girl, she don't like football, so I'm on my phone. She come next to me with Daddy, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Shoot, every time I walk in the door, she's hut. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, most definitely, man. It's spending time with them, taking them to different places, theme parks, coloring, painting, all of that, man. Shoot, just experience with them and then growing them day by day. Yeah.
I say. And so we had to start it with love, you feel me? And now we're gonna ground this energy and tap into our exercises as we always do. And so obviously, King OC knows, he watched the show. I don't know if you Benaiah's tapped in too plenty of times. So y'all know how we rock out, we do the heart chakra singing bowl with different exercises to ground the energy. So we're gonna tap in on that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself. So let's get it. So at this time, I'm gonna play the root chakra bell. You can start to meditate now, or you can just relax and just be one with self in this moment. You know what I'm saying? Really just not even try to clear your thoughts, but just be one and present in the moment. See. So now we're gonna tap in with the Rainbow Collective. For those that are here that are new and don't know what that means, this is about any type of walk of life, any type of race, any type of religion, whatever it is that you identify with. We are acknowledging every aspect of that as the Rainbow Collective, and understanding that each part of this rainbow and every color of this rainbow is valuable. You know what I'm saying? So as we do that, we're going to also align our chakras and speak affirmations to ourselves. I say. So let's get it, Kai.
All right, so we're gonna keep it real simple today. You dig what I'm saying, and just keep this energy neutral, guided by love. You know what I'm saying, the heart space. So just create some pressure right underneath where your ring finger connects to your palm, right on that joint that deals with the thymus gland. Do it on both hands. And then we gonna hit the Birdman hands. You know what I'm saying? Just rub that in. Rub that in. You know what I'm saying? Rub that in. Rub it in.
Oh, shoot.
And then from there, tap in the heart space. Here, tap in.
I say. And so y'all already know this is always a heart space platform. You know what I'm saying? Everything we do is inspired by love. So to end the exercise, we play the heart chakra singing bowl, and then we're gonna dive in. And we also have another guy that is on the way, another father. You know what I'm saying? So y'all be on the lookout. It ain't over. You feel me? It ain't nowhere near over. We just getting started. Also, I will let y'all know at this time, if you have some Palo Santo, light you some Palo Santo. You got some frankincense, spray it, light your frankincense. If you want to meditate, do a little, 1, 2, 3, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, breathe out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need to do to just ground this energy, but make sure that you become vulnerable to self. And also, if you have trauma with your father, you mad at your father, you love your father, whatever that energy is that you tapped in with right now, ground it right now and become one with it. Because by the end of this show, if you angry at your father, we're gonna help you find a way to love your father by the end of this episode. You know what I'm saying? I'll say. I say. Now we here. You know what I'm saying? So once again, for anybody that just tapped in, we are actually honoring the fathers today. The name of this episode is The Love of a Father. You know what I'm saying? If you are a father, please get in the chat. Any question that we ask to the guys on the panel, we are asking y'all as well in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So definitely tap in and get active. If you have any questions for the fathers on the panel, definitely tap in. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it rocking. Where do we want to go? Let's start with the support of a father, right? Because as men, we are a lot looked at as, we don't need this certain type of support or this certain type of support system versus we are the support and the support system. So what type of support does a father need? to be a great father?
I think he needs, for me personally, right? I need the respect to make mistakes. I need you to respect me enough to understand that this is the first time I've done this, right? And no matter how many kids I have, this is the first time I've done it with this specific being, right? And so I need the respect to be able to make these mistakes, because as I make these mistakes, I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm making the best decisions that my mind can comprehend. And I need that space to fail, because in that space to fail, what it looks like is my first son, he'll see all of them, right? He'll get all those mistakes, right? That's why he gets the inheritance. My next child, they're not gonna see the broke daddy, right? They're gonna see the flourishing daddy, right? And then my next child, they're gonna see the healed daddy, so on and so forth, right? And that's just my legacy, not talking about my grandkids' kids, so on and so forth. And so I have to have that space where I make the bulk of the mistakes, where I'm figuring it out, so I can pass the answers down to my kids.
That's super powerful, because that is real generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know what the definition of that is, he just gave it to you. And that is also one of the biggest purpose, in my opinion, of a father. To actually create something that lives forever. See, the goddess, the woman, the mother, she actually creates the life. But we are supposed to give that life, infinite experiences, infinite, opportunities. So that is very powerful.
I think as far as the most support, I would say, just to piggyback on that, definitely being respected, but also like a space to work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because without working on yourself, then you can't bring nothing to your kids. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be strong so much, constantly, all the time. You're strongest that you can be at that time. So taking those moments of breaks and just to yourself and working on yourself in different ways. A lot of times I chop it up with JoJo, helps me out a lot. You know what I'm saying? Without those spaces in my life, it really affects my fatherhood and how it's going to project, in this dimension.
So, manifest, G.
Oh, I got you. Hey, you my brother.
You with my mama, you know what I'm talking about? Can't bring y'all nowhere, you know what I'm saying?
Say, I ain't gonna say.
Oh, man. I want to actually, because I feel like we kind of like we getting into it and as we supposed to do, but I also feel like, you know what I'm saying, I'm feeling led to feel like, what do y'all feel like is a message? You know what I'm saying? That's something that, I got questions, but I'm not a father. I'm a father in many ways, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a father like y'all that hasn't manifested into my reality yet. So, what do y'all feel is important? You know what I'm saying? Right now, that fathers need to hear, or that's just important to y'all, period, as a father. If you want to send a message to your children right now, like, what would that be? You know what I mean?
I think, see, a lot of times people think like if you feel like the worst father, or you are a bad father, that, that's a bad thing. But I think you're always going to be forever growing. You know what I'm saying? For the fact that if you're conscious that of, how you doing it, and you critiquing yourself, you know what I'm saying? It could be one thing today, or over a span of 3 months, just as long as you're still growing until you get to a certain place. A lot of times it's like in my fatherhood, everything was shattered. You know what I'm saying? In a moment, just because of relationships and stuff like that. And it was so hard to get through those moments and persevere, so I can get to the point, where I can actively be there more throughout these circumstances and different things that's changing. So the fact that you have a willing heart, I think that's the biggest thing that you can have, in approaching fatherhood, because it's going to always push you to grow.
It's deep just listening to y'all talk, because I was on live and I said something earlier. I said we've been taking leaps of faith since our conception. Like, our whole conception was a leap of faith. Like, even from the sperm cell being magnetized towards the egg. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that specific sperm cell was chosen by that egg. You dig what I'm saying? And like, even through what we are to become as just a man or a masculine energy is deep, because through that whole process and what y'all are articulating, the message that I'm pulling is just to hold yourself accountable. You dig what I'm saying? And then allow yourself the grace to tap in, you know what I'm saying, and do what you need to do. So I just find that deep and motivating, you know what I'm saying? Motivated messages that's out right now that we giving to the guys, and it's very useful for anybody listening, you know what I'm saying? Not even just the fathers.
I think the biggest thing for me is, so I'm a very aggressive speaker, right? I'm just not I don't sugarcoat much or nothing. I love my babies. Everybody who sees me knows I love my kids, but if it's time to talk crazy, it's time to talk crazy. Now, I don't speak to my kids out of anger, so that's not what I'm saying. So please hear me and hear my heart. But how I talk is how I talk, right?
We didn't have to talk. I said, hey, bro,
yeah, like, it may sound like I'm angry, right? But I'm not. And so what I realized is I had a choice when my son was born. I could fake the funk, or I could be 100% authentic to myself. So what I taught my son was, this is how daddy talks. If daddy talks to you out of anger, you will know, and you will be able to check daddy. It's daddy's job to discipline you and all these other things, but it is not. Daddy doesn't have the right to talk to you out of anger, as I don't have the right to talk to anybody out of anger. So what I realize is, when people hear me parent my kids, right, they have an issue with it. And in my head, it used to bother me. It's like, okay, why are you speaking on how I teach my kids? However, every lesson I have ever taught my children, they understand, because I'm not speaking to them through my trauma or through your trauma. I'm speaking directly to them. And the only person that knows how to speak to my kids is the person who put the seed in their mother's womb. They're my DNA. I know what I needed growing up. I know what I missed growing up. I know if I had more of X, Y, and Z, I would have turned out different, or I would have came to myself sooner. So it's my job to help my kids navigate through that and not baby them, because I can love them. I can allow them to have a childhood, but that does not mean that I have to baby them. And so for me, it's standing firm on what I believe and understanding that, hey, you may not agree to this. However, this is not your DNA. Some kids need whoopings. Other kids need corners. Other kids need talking to. Because I am their father, it is my job to figure out what type of kid I have and adjust my life accordingly.
I mean, geez. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, because the way I handle my daughter and the way I handle my son is different, but they are different in themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's about knowing that personality, being there to put where the structure needs to be, and those weaknesses that they may have, But yeah, most definitely.
Say the last thing you said, being there to
basically support the weakness. Yeah, bring the structure to those weaknesses, giving you a ladder so you can start climbing,
So I'm all about grounding the information, and I think that statement was a grounded information. If everything y'all said went over somebody's head, say it was just too deep, or whatever, it was they couldn't connect. It's just like what he said, it's about really being that foundation, that structure. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look around, and this is how I even love people around me. I have a fatherly energy. Everybody around me knows that. So I love people from this place of where I don't want cracks in the relationship. And if I can stop you, if I see you walking and it's a crack in front of you, I'm going to try to do everything I can to stop you from walking and falling in that crack. That's just how I am. But in that process, you may think I'm crazy. And that's what y'all speaking about in the process of being a father. In that process of stopping the children from falling in a crack and actually creating a solid foundation, sometimes it creates an energy where on the outside looking in, they don't know what you're protecting.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I think that's pretty deep because it's all in the name of structure, which is in the name of love. You know what I'm saying?
And one of the biggest examples I've ever heard somebody say, this was years ago, it was actually a single mama. She said, my son does not have the authority to question me. And she wasn't saying that he can't question eventually, but in the moment, no. And so the example that she used was, if he rolls a ball out in the street and he's running out to get it and I tell him stop and he questions it and keeps on running, that cost him his life. But if he stops, that saves his life. Now, after he stops, he has the authority to come back and question me. Hey, why did you make me stop? And now we can have that conversation of understanding. But the reason I'm on my kids the first time is because this may very well be life and death in certain situations. And I have to teach you that. If my son, God forbid, something happens to him for a lack of guidance, that's on me. Now, life happens. People do weird things out here in the world. However, it will never be for a lack of parenting that it costs my son anything.
That's deep. You know, and I honestly feel like a big reflection of that is our community, is the hood, is how we act. You know what I'm saying? You can tell that, you know, we grew up with no structure. So we outside acting wild. You know what I'm saying? And there's no, you know, this is the thing about it. Everybody talk about OGs, right? Every hood got an OG, you know. It's a whole bunch of youngsters out here that are looking up to one OG. But what's so deep is that they all got an OG. They fall. But that OG end up, you know, not being in the position. So all these people, but I think that's deep. That's what you're saying. It's the OG energy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that you are there every step of the way to God and to make sure that when the reason why the streets be successful in the sense of doing the things that they do and the OGs be successful is because they understand how to train and how to, you know, how to build a certain foundation and understand how to make their child ride or die for this certain vision.
Yeah. That's
the power that a father actually has.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's about how are you guiding your child? Where are you leading them to? And on this panel, we have two fathers that are actually willing to sacrifice themselves, you know what I'm saying, for the sake of the foundation. Yeah. And I think that that's beautiful because what y'all saying is that even though it looked crazy sacrificing myself, it was really just a lesson. It wasn't an L at all. It was a lesson that my child had to learn the lesson and I had to learn a lesson. So that segues me into my next question. It's off the top. How many lessons have you learned in front of your child real time? Like where they actually saw you, like, you know what I'm saying? Learn a real life lesson.
Way too many. So the biggest one was, so I allowed my son to speak to me. Like, he can't speak to his mama the way he speaks to me, but like, you know, keep it authentic with me because I'm learning. And I've told him several times, bro, this is my first time being a daddy. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out, bro. So we gonna figure it out together. You gonna make sacrifices that's unnecessary and so am I. And so we're on our way to church or something one day. He couldn't find his clothes and I kept calling him a baby. Bro, you a baby, bro. Like just getting on him, right? We get to church, you know, do our thing. We headed back. And he pulls me aside and he's like, hey, Dad. I said, what's up, bro? Because I already know. As soon as he say, hey, Dad, he trying to talk, right? And he was like, you are antagonizing me. I was like, bro, what are you talking about? He said, you're antagonizing me. You kept calling me a baby. Now, mind you, in my head, I don't remember none of that, right? I'm just trying to get us out the door. And so at that moment, it was like, I could be mad at him for saying I'm antagonizing, or I can check myself and say, you know what, you're right. Because what I know to be true is if he's doing that at 7, at 16, he can do the same thing when it's a real issue, when it's a real problem, when he really needs to talk, when something really going on, when he getting picked on, when somebody offer him drugs or whatever the case is. So I need to make sure he can talk to me now. And what I know to be true is at some point, he gonna stop talking to me. So I need to make sure I have a group of solid brothers around me that may not say it the way that I say it or do it the way that I do it, but the message is still the same. So when he doesn't talk to daddy, he knows he has to talk to a male figure, and he can reach out to his uncles, his brothers, whatever he calls them at that time, and they're solid people. So for me, it's learning a lesson to be able to fail and let them know I failed. And in real time, be like, hey, bro, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I missed it. You know what I'm saying? And my son love to tell me when I miss it, bro, because I miss it a lot.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all too. When it comes to Benaiah, bro, I'm gonna say this. He do not play about the loyalty of others to his children. And I love that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I am about my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, if you're not loyal to my wife, how can you be loyal to me? Because every decision I make reflects back to her. So every decision that you make as a father reflects back to your children. And I've heard you on the phone and different situations not play no games about the love that is being projected to them or projected to you, because the love that's being projected to you affects your day in the home. You know what I'm saying? And so that type of awareness as a father is huge.
And that's my biggest thing is you can't meet my children if you're not going to add value to my kids, period. And you can be my dog, but you can't meet my children because, like I said, they'll stop talking to me one day. And for me, even if we fall off, we're adults, we're humans, right? There may be something you do that I may not like, but the fact that I brought you around my child, it means that there's a certain energy about you, or there's a certain lesson that I feel like I can't teach my kid the way you naturally can. So even if we're not speaking, you are called to my children. You are called to speak to my children. You are called to happy birthdays, all that other stuff. And if you can't do that, then don't even introduce yourself to my children, because they need a community. I don't need a community. I've built what I've built, and I have my community. My child is in the process of building his community, and I need to know, just because I don't agree with the man that's next to me, that he's still putting bricks on my child's wall.
Jeez. So I guess all the lessons, one of the biggest lessons I learned just with my daughter is being too hard. Sometimes you got to pick your battles. You know what I'm saying? It's because my projection of my fatherhood to her has to be all elements. You know what I mean? It can't just be correction. It's got to be love. You know what I'm saying? Nurturing too. I mean, even though she has a mother, at the same time, fatherhood is nurturing too. You know, male intimacy as far as father and son and all that. Yeah, that's very important. So there's something to look out with from like how we formed our mind, being like infiltrated by media and stuff like that. You know, how to be with our daughters and stuff like that. So like the biggest thing I've learned for real is picking my battles, you know, because I was on her neck all the time. I was on her neck all the time, bro. You know, and she only 2. Yeah. Like one girl,
can I ask you a question? And obviously I already, know the answer. But from this right here, what made you be on her like that? Was it a certain type of fear? Was it a certain type of was it like certain thoughts that you were creating in your head? Scenarios, like what actually created this protection energy on this level?
Yeah, you know how they say, watch what you do, because when you get a daughter, you know what I'm saying? So I look back at all the things, that I wasn't that bad, but at the same time, I could see how, like, it's so easily to get off track, around 13, 14, 12. It's so easy to get swayed to another thing, and it's hard to get that power back, like, to have the most influence in your child's life. That's something. So I'm foreseeing those battles. So, and then also at the same time, when they're this young, you lay the foundation. So all you doing is touching up and letting them be the best them they can be. Because I don't want my son to be like me. I want him to be better than me. So it's gonna be times that he knows stuff. that I have to be open on. You know what I'm saying? It's not always daddy know exactly what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta allow them the freedom. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, learn the lessons.
You told your kids that you want them to be better than you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I think that's the most powerful thing I've ever done. Because now my son holds himself to a bigger standard than I even hold him to. Because he looks at me and he sees great. I've done a lot of great things. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worked for nobody in 10 years. I do me. I raised my household. I bought a house in the middle of a global pandemic, so on and so forth, right? And that's just my drive, my hustle, and not knocking nobody that has or has not. But he sees that. And in his mind, I got to be better than that. And it's a beautiful thing because he also understands that he's comfortable enough to fail, but he still got to be better than daddy, because wherever daddy passes away at, whatever line I draw in the sand when I make it to where I'm going, that's where he's starting. And he knows that. He knows that at 7. And to know that at 7 and to take that into teenage years, to take that into adulthood, and then to know, like, yo, to him right now, I'm the most badass person in the world, right? And to know that I could call Superman and say, Dad, it's powerful, because he understands in order to beat Superman, I got to study Superman. So it's my job to make sure everything he's studying is beautiful. And it doesn't mean I'm hiding my wrongs. It means I'm exposing them before he can expose them, and having that conversation and walking him through why this situation was wrong.
Bro, I think that's one of the biggest problems of, especially in the Black community, is that it be like, because I said so.
Yeah.
Because I said so, bro, it put a wall between the connection line between parenting and child. Mm-hmm. Like, you just had to do it. And then now you teaching your child how to go in the world and be another motherfucker. Oh, my bad. Be a person in line. You know what I'm saying? Just following along. Everybody jumping off the bridge. You go too. Nah, man.
And
you ain't gonna ask why.
I think we miss is, and not to bring race into it, but if you go to a park, all the little white kids gonna ask why, no matter what it is. As Black kids get older, they stop asking why, because their parents stop answering why. And for me, I realized how much I don't know by my son asking why. As soon as he asks why, I'm pulling up the phone, Googling, hey, bro, I hear me. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is why.
You got to figure out today.
And then you learn something. And it's funny because now my son knows, if my daddy don't know, my daddy gonna figure it out. So there's things he don't even have to stress about and overstudy, because, hey, I'm gonna just ask my daddy. My daddy don't know. He got a group of people he can ask. He gonna get on the phone, he gonna ask. And that why is why we have the Elon Musk. It's why we have electric cars. It's why we have the things that, because you have to ask the question in order to get the answer. We have stopped our Black boys from asking the question, which is why we only know how to adapt and survive, and we don't know how to thrive. The difference between adapting and surviving and thriving is asking the question why. And we took that away from our boys.
Facts.
Hey, man, shout out Coach, you know what I'm saying? To you fathers, man, you know what I'm saying? If you want to have a light work relationship with your child, man, of love, of wholeness, of harmony, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the cheat code, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna speak on this real quick, you know, because y'all went in, and in our community, a lot of fathers compete with their sons, and that is very toxic, and it messes up the legacy. You know, you're actually living backwards at that point. You know what I'm saying? And so, with y'all breaking down how y'all broke it down, and really the Superman analogy, and it's like, who don't want their child to be, you know, feel this powerful about themselves, but understanding that this is their inner child. So as they grow up, this is going to be their inner child within them, which is going to reflect you, whatever you is and you was, you know what I'm saying? And so the fact that y'all are like, yo, I want you to go out there. Look, son, I'm Superman, and I never learned how to fly. But Superman has those abilities.
Yeah.
My son is gonna learn how to fly, and I'm gonna be, and then he gonna come back and teach me how to fly. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna like that's a super dope metaphor. You know what I mean?
Now I love that, bro, because I was this emotional, even like this expressive, this emotional. I was none of that until my son, right? And he a real lovey-dovey, kissy, huggy type of dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I remember waking up and him trying to hug me, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, chill. Like, give me a second, right?" And even now, still, I'm learning how to deal with it, but realizing that okay, just because I didn't get that doesn't mean that he don't deserve that. So if that's what he needs to feel loved, I can't say. Everybody says they're willing to die for something or somebody, right? My son ain't asking me to die. My son is asking me to live. Right? Just live and love me, bro. Love me how I want to be loved. Love me how I receive love. Even if that makes you uncomfortable. Because what's love without sacrifice?
Facts.
If you're not sacrificing something for your children, I can say you love them, bro. Because do you know how many hours I have worked, times I done hopped in the car and cried on the way to work? Like, I don't want to do this. Call my boys complaining, knowing dang well no matter what they say, I still got to go to work because the kids got to eat. They ain't missing no birthdays. They finna have whatever the next kid have just because I love them, not because they asked, not because they even knew that was a thing. But I know, man, one of my biggest flexes will be when my kid turns 16, I want to fly him to Italy just to eat some spaghetti. It's been the biggest dream of my heart. Like, we fly there Friday night, we eat spaghetti. We come back home Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just so on Monday, he can say, I went and ate spaghetti with my dad. Right? And I've been saving for this since I was knee high. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put money behind, this is what I'm thinking about. Because it's my job to show him the world. And if I can show him we're flying to Italy just to eat, right? Now he puts together in his mind, I have to work this hard. I have to do this, boom, 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 if I want to experience the whole world. But daddy already gave him his first leg up and said, hey, bro, we can do this as much as you want to do this.
You know what it is, bro? I think that's deep because, you know what I'm saying, it's the whole nothing's impossible factor.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And so as a child, once we get to a certain age, that that mindset gets taken away from us. Yeah. Especially if we're living in the hood, family struggling, and you like, nigga, we can't even get no shoes. How we gonna go out the country? You know what I mean? It's not, you know, making sense. So to be able to say, you know what, son, even if we not, you see, we, you know, we millionaires, we rich in spirit, we got things bubbling, but you see, that's not the current situation. And guess what? We still making it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what? Another thing I wanted to talk about too is how maximizing what you have too at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like going on the bus, that was junior, boy. That was junior stuff right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? We go on the bus, we looking at look at these plants, look at these. When we walk. Remember we used to go to the trails. You know what I'm saying? We walk through the woods. You know what I'm saying? Because I got $4 to make it to the park. You feel me? And we got to maximize. Look, I didn't have no guns, like them little play guns. Shoot, we had 2 sticks. And I swear, hey, I'm talking about we was having war. It was Call of Duty, and I mean we throwing fake grenades and everything, bro.
Yeah.
You feel me? And you know, Junior, bro, he rolling around, bro. He dodging and everything. Bro, say, man, that boy right there, boy, have you working out? Have you working out, man? And guess what? That was then. That's like when he was 5. Now he just turned 10. I took him to the VR, the virtual reality. We in the now we in the building. We got the gun, we got the goggles on. You know what I'm saying? Just me and my little G, me and my young king. You feel me? And taking them down, you know. So yeah, to be able to maximize those situations and appreciate when you are able to go somewhere farther at the same time. That way, it don't matter what's going on in your life, you'll still be stable inside your body, like inside your spirit. You feel me? So,
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, family. Come on now, man. To the fathers out there, you can't make no excuses. Bro had $4 a stick and a rock. What we talking right now?
Say,
you know?
No, thanks.
Bro, and the killer part about it is what you just said go over a lot of fathers' head. Like I'd have told you was full of crap if it wasn't for last year, bro. I was struggling But I told my son I would buy one of them little, I don't know what it was, one of them little sports cars that you put on the road, spiders. So I told my son I'm gonna pick you up on one of them. So boy, I did everything, figured it out, got one, rented one out. I was late. Right, I pull up to get him. I'm like, hey, what do you want to go do? We finna hit the city, bro. He wanted to go to the park. Look, girlfriend was at the park. He wasn't gonna play at the park. Bro, I spent $300 to rent out this vehicle for the day. You know what I'm saying? To pick him up so he looked cool.
Yeah.
And I realized he never asked for that.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to give him. He never asked for that. He never wanted it. He wanted to play at the park. So it was more powerful that I was playing at the park with him, and I spent some money to make it look cool because he wasn't tripping about that. Wow. They want their father. They don't care what it comes with. And a lot of people stop being a father because they can't give anything but their self. But to understand that that's the best thing you can give them. Because if you can give them the last part of you, it'll be the best part of them.
Hey, man, I'm going to say this too. That presence. I think the presence is the biggest thing, man. And I remember as a kid, I was, I wasn't even a kid. I was like 17, bro. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't noticed how much my father hadn't been there throughout my life. But this day, that's when I just had a flashback. And I was like, dang, he ain't even been to a game. He ain't been to none of my graduations, all these school graduations and all different things like that. So, but I'm just saying, with that experience, like, my son just graduated this year, right? He came down to Fort Worth. I didn't have a car at the time. And I had to go to work. So, you know, I went to worked about like 7 hours. You know, my mama came pick me up, and I showed up right after the thing was over. But guess what? When he turned around and he saw me, he was like, "Daddy!" Like, he live. He know that even though I couldn't be there throughout the whole ceremony. And it's been times that I've been there through the ceremonies. You know what I'm saying? So it's about
they be looking for you in the crowd. That's my favorite. They be they set up.
yeah. You know, you be low key. There you go. Yeah, bro. So yeah, that presence brings a lot for fatherhood, or is like one of the most important things. Just so I can see you. I mean, because even if you're doing wrong, at least now I'm learning what not to do.
Facts.
I'm about to tell on y'all heartstrings a little bit.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So, when is a time that you actually saw this play out in real time, where your child actually expressed to you how important your presence was in that moment?
Hey, I got one that just happened actually. Like, I saw my son, he kept going in the bathroom. And to mind you, he wasn't living in my household at this point. You know, I lived with him up to 7 years old. So this him 10, you know what I'm saying? So he was just kept going to the bathroom. So I go in the bathroom and I say, "Son, what's going on? What's wrong with you?" And he tried to play it off, you know, like it's cool. And I was like, "No, Junior, what's wrong with you?" And he was like, "I just miss you, Dad. I just miss you, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to see you again. You know, it's been chopping up. When you're used to seeing somebody every single day, you know what I'm saying, then they just disappear, you know." So I forgot, what was the question again, though?
You answering the question?
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm talking about, that hit my, So
yeah, the question was about just that moment that your presence was, that your child reflected, and that was man, you know what I'm saying? That's very powerful.
Yeah. So I held him, and we cried. We cried together. You know what I'm saying? And I told him how I'm gonna do better and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, my presence was definitely needed right there.
I think mine was more. I mean, I'm trying to get out my feelings from your story, because I've been a father to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I've had a lot of heartbreak. I've had a lot of people inside of my home that just couldn't stay. They were just in a bad situation and so on and so forth. But I think the biggest one for me is the one I still do today. My daughter was born. She was maybe 6 months, right? And my son's 3 years old at the time. And I'm looking at the top of the stairs, and there's my daughter and my son. And I look at my son, and I know my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know when he finna do something stupid. And I had to scream stop because he was finna push his sister down the stairs. Like, he was gearing up to push her down the stairs. And I was like, bro, what's... Boom. So I went and grabbed him, grabbed sister, put her up, went and sat him down. And I was like, bro, what's going on? Like, what's up? This is when he's 3. And he said, you're giving her all my time. I don't have enough time with you. And I was like, dang, well, what do you want to do? He was like, I just want to be. He was 3 years old. He said, I just want to be. So because of that, every Friday night from that time to now, every Friday night, anybody tell you call me on Friday night, we having family movie nights, period. We're going to get everybody down. We're going to chill. And my daughter just started doing family movie nights like a year ago. But usually we put her to bed. We all watch a movie. But now, everybody up, we popcorn, we candied out, and we watch the movie. Sometimes we watch a few. Sometimes we watch one. But they know Friday nights, that's our time. You want to cuddle? Yeah, daddy going to cuddle with you. You want to make a pallet? We're going to make a pallet, whatever the case is. And am I always in the mood? No. Is Fridays always the greatest days for me to do stuff? No. However, that's what we doing. If Joe Smoke coming over, guess what? I had a partner come over a couple weeks ago. Hey, he came over 9 o'clock. Hey, bro, you know what time it is? Family movie night. So I'm gonna need you to shut up and sit in that corner. And we finna watch Ant-Man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they want to watch, right? And that's what we do. And I think for them, it's like, okay, this is my time with my dad. Because half the time, not even be watching a movie. We just be chopping it up. Daughter fall asleep in my arms. But it's those moments where it's like, yo, we need you here. We want you here. It's something about you just being able to breathe. I don't know what it's like to fall asleep on my daddy's chest, right? And I'm 31 years old talking about I don't know what it's like to fall asleep on my daddy's chest, right? I don't know what that intimacy, that connection would have done for me as a man growing up. You feel me? But my son has never missed that. Because I don't care if that motherfucker is 31 years old, he always got a chest that he can lay on. Because I'm going to be his daddy, period. And that's just, yeah, man, I'm going to get out my feelings. But yeah, but that's, you know what I'm saying?
Now, y'all was already there, you know what I'm saying? Y'all inspired the question. I just said, let me just take them all the way there, you know, because really y'all was already there. Y'all, the type of love that y'all are expressing is so, it's so needed and it's so, you know, refreshing. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, when I tell you, like, it was a lot of energy I was seeing in this world, was a lot of hate, man. People was just mad at their fathers this year. And maybe it's like that every year. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it. Yeah. But, and it's not like I've had the best relationship with my father. Y'all know my father has been through hell. Yeah. At the same time, I understand the other side. And we working on the other side. But to even get to the other side, we had to have compassion. We have to be open and understand these different aspects of our father's lives. And so I'm transitioning with saying that and saying, how did your relationship with your father actually affect how you parent in your relationship with your child?
For me, I say at first it was scary because it was like, how can I be a father? How can I be a father figure without a father figure? It don't make sense, right? And then through my own self journey of who I am as a person, being allowed by my wife to fail in a comfortable environment where I wasn't judged, I realized the reason I can be a great father like I am to this day is because I did have an example. It's not the example I thought I needed. I knew what not to do, period. And because I knew what not to do, it was easy to transition what to do because it was literally just the opposite. And that's how I grow to be the father that I am now. As I look at my father, I'm saying there's 1,000 things that he did wrong, right? I'm going to do the opposite of these. But also the things that he did right, I'm not going to make anybody feel guilty for him. I'm going to take that and enhance it and plug it in and say, okay, this is how we do it better, right? My dad, man, bro, still to this day, one of my favorite memories in life, I'd be at my grandma's house my dad would pull up. He had the little older Chrysler 300s, not the little box body that everybody know, but the older ones, right?
Yeah.
Always had bang in the trunk. He was always jamming old school. He was outside playing with like 4 or 5 people. He'd put everybody in the car. We go right around the corner of my grandma's house and go to the stove. And he would open the door and say, "Hey, I'm finna go get a drink and some shit. Y'all ain't at the counter when I'm at the counter. Y'all don't get nothing." So it got to the point where when he did come over, everybody knew, hop in the car. You know what I'm saying? We finna go to the stove. And so now my kids know, hey, look, if I say get in the car, we finna go to the stove, you ain't even gotta ask me. Like, if you don't get out the car, when I get to the stove, you ain't getting nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing. And I was able to take that and say, okay, how do I do this for my kids? How do I do it in a way that they know that they're loved? How do I do it in a way of escape? Because that's what it was for me. It was an escape from wherever I was at. So that's what I do for my kids. It's like, hey, look, they're having a long day. Mama getting on their nerves. They getting on their mama nerves. I'm like, hey, put shoes on. My daughter's still catching on, but my son, oh, he know. Don't ask daddy nothing. Just get a car. Like, because he already know, bro. You finna get something. So just come on, bro. We finna make it happen.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Nah, that's super. That's super dope. It's funny too because you just exposed what a lot of people don't be wanting to respect is that children are very wise and they're very intentional. You know what I'm saying? They be doing stuff. They be knowing what they're doing. They understand how you work. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I'm trying to put you on this. You know what I'm saying? This,
you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to let you know this is not what we do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
For sure. That's I think that you alchemize that very well. You know, as far as the reflection, projection from this side to this side. You know what I'm saying? With the father that you are versus certain, you know what I mean?
And also, real quick, let me say for the record, my father is now an incredible father, right? He is an incredible grandfather. I gave him the opportunity to be a grandfather, and he is the grandfather that I wish he wasn't a father, right? He had to grow up, and he didn't have access to the things that we have access to now to put into play to grow up. So I think that was some of his setback. So I don't fault him for it, and I'm able to release it to it and understand that the only reason I know what I'm doing is because I have more of an oversight versus his generation did not. So I no longer hold him accountable for his sins. However, moving forward, now I hold him accountable for having the conversation. And I have to understand that at times I have to be the father and lead those conversations or bring them up because he never had to have those conversations with his father. So he has no idea what that looks like.
No, that's real.
Big facts.
Then be some hard conversations. You know what I'm
Me.
saying? Like, my father, we have been having them hard conversations. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is when you make it through them hard conversations without projecting ego, frustration, anger, trauma, y'all actually become, you know, that's when the true father and son, as far as a grown man, two men are actually able to connect as father and son, and the respect factor comes in. And now, you know, respect is based off of love. Yeah. And when you can connect and build a relationship where the respect is based off love, that actually creates an open door. But even if you say something to piss him off, or he say something to piss you off, we can respond out of love due to respect, and we'll never go to the place that we used to. You know what I mean?
Facts. I think one of the hardest things that, man, this was like 2 years ago. Me and my old lady was getting into it. She called my father. I guess I was acting my color. And he said something to her. I don't really know what he said, but I felt offended. You know what I'm saying? So I called my father, and I'm going off. Like, you all kind of, he should have fought me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of conversation we had, man. I can't remember calling this man after about an hour or two, checking myself. And I remember calling him, and it's hurting to say I'm sorry. Like, it's going to hurt, but I know I need to because I didn't even give him a chance, right? And this man picked up the phone, bro. And before I could say anything, he just said, yo, I love you. I understand that new information doesn't dismiss the old information. And it's okay. And that was hard to receive because it was like, I'm expecting to be chastised. I just cussed you out. Like, I wouldn't be here for you, regardless of our relationship. But for you to be able to call and say, yo, you good. You don't even have to tap your pride like that. You don't have to waste no energy on me. I'm your father and I'm supposed to sacrifice. At that moment, he did what I felt like he should have been doing all along, and took the sins of the son and say, hey, no, that's on me. Daddy can deal with that. You still are learning to deal with pain. It's daddy's job to shield you from any pain that's unbearable.
Yeah, that's deep, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what to expect tonight. I knew it was gonna be what it was supposed to be, and I also knew that, I'll tell you, I had to really fight for this episode energetically and many other ways, because there is an energy where people do want to tap in on the daddy issues, but I think we can speak on that from a place of, a father is a reflection of a father. So if we're going to talk about fathers and daddy issues and all this type of stuff, then why not saying it doesn't affect all of us, because it does affect all of us, but all of us don't have to go into that role after it affects us. And so as a father, you have to actually step into a role. You have to try to be something that broke you. I don't never got to try to be a mother. As bad as my mama hurt me, I don't never have to try to be that. Versus as a father, so to bring y'all on here and for y'all to be speaking the way that y'all speaking from a place of, man, I dealt with the pain, I dealt with the trauma, then I have to go try to figure out how to be that. And then I'm also looking at myself as my father. So now I'm embodying his the things that he didn't do, and I'm damn near psyching myself out because now I'm afraid of making his decisions. And in return, I end up making his decisions. You see what I'm saying? And so I think that's beautiful that y'all are reflecting that whole thing and understanding that, that's a part of the process. It's after you make his decisions, what do you do with that? You see what I'm saying? What's good, Kyle?
It's just deep. Like, it's the energy is just crazy because it's like, the expansion of a mind and just how a mind is able to articulate how it expanded and its rise through its hero's journey. Like, it's just deep. Like, throughout all of y'all stories, it's just perseverance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just pure and utter, like, pure perseverance. Like, and knowing that you have standards for yourself. You dig what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's about your children and it's about family, but also what I'm loving is that y'all not forgetting about yourselves in the process, because without having yourself, you can't do none of the things that you want to do for your child. So like, I'm just loving the like I said at the beginning, the self-accountability to just grow and become better. Like, this episode, everything that I knew it was gonna be, like, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those.
For sure. And I want to say this again. These are my brothers, man. Like, I have hours and hours and hours and hours of conversations with these brothers. You know what I'm saying? So know them very well. There's no cap. You know what I'm saying? In the conversation or in the story. This is real life. So, because a lot of people, this is what black people have to do. That nigga capping just so you don't gotta take the information serious. No, there's no cap. It's possible. It's really possible for you to be, for you to break the cycle. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to acknowledge a different aspect of fatherhood, because we are actually speaking on talking to fathers that are actively been in their children's lives. But I want to actually speak, and I want to ask this question to the panel and to the class, you know what I'm saying, in the chat. Has there been another masculine energy that actually stepped up in your life that played a father figure role? Are there any of those people? And if so, say on Father's Day, you may say, I don't rock with my father. But that person right there that actually filled in the gap deserves that love and that blessing and that celebration as well. And I think they get left out and they get forgot about, including stepfathers, whatever this area that they played in your life. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say for y'all on the panel, do y'all remember of any specific people?
Man, for sure. My Uncle Herb, shout out Uncle Herb, man. Uncle Herb been there day one, you know what I'm saying? And the craziest thing about my aunt is that he was like 13 when I was 3. I think he like just 10 years away from me, something like that, you know. So it was a lot of times when he was like 20, you know, I just stepped into 13 and stuff, and being able for him to take me around, you know what I'm saying, to different places and stuff like that. He made it a point to come pick me up, you know what I'm saying? In return, that's the type of uncle I want to be to my nephew. Shout out Jaden. But that's definitely what I have been striving toward and stuff like that, you know. He was monumental, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I mean, for me, it was my Uncle EJ, man. 2 people, my Uncle EJ at first before we moved, and he just taught me that no matter what I'm dealing with, no matter what I'm going through, no matter who I become, all he gonna do is love me. That's it. I'm gonna stand on these principles, and he gonna beat me on these principles, and that's what that is. And so for me, I always felt rejected by a lot of people, and it obviously started first with my father, but by my uncle, he taught me that it don't matter what you are, what you want to become. My only job is to love you. That's it. In whatever capacity. That was huge for me because it allowed me to be loyal to my friends. It allowed me to love my friends and say, hey, look, this is what I stand on. As long as you ain't stepping on what I stand on, we are copacetic. We can be upset. Me and Manifest know we've had a conversation that was upset, and what I do, I close my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't want to say anything that was disrespectful. And then we had a mature, and no holds barred, but we had a mature conversation later on that day because I know he stands on what I stand on, and although we're not aligned at the time, I know we will be, so I'm not going to burn that bridge. And then it was an older white man by the name of 10 Caps, and what he taught me was the awareness of my black and understanding that whether my intentions are good or not, I have to be able to see what other people see and maneuver through that. And it was hard hearing from a white man. And it was a lot of cussing you out and get yous and all these other things that happened. However, that man never missed the game. When I went to culinary school, he paid for my food and my apartment going into it. There's just a lot of things that he did for me. And so understanding that he didn't have to, right? He wasn't my father, but he decided to take that role. And that's what I believe the role of friendships is. Like, I don't know Brandon, right? This is my first time meeting Brandon. But now, because of these conversations that we had, and Brandon called me and said, hey, bro, I need X, Y, and Z for these kids. Oh, it's for the babies. It's a wrap. It's going to happen because it's for the babies. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding that you can be a father without giving birth, because I don't think giving birth makes you a father. It makes you a dad, and that's commendable, right? But what makes you a father is being able to take your child and move him forward. And if you can't take a child and move him forward, you have never been a father. You've just been a dad.
You know what's deep is that King OC hit me today and told me Happy Father's Day. And then I had a few of the tribes too hit me up. And I was on the phone where I was like, bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a father, bro. He was like, bro, but you are, bro, to many people, bro. Actually, bro, he's like, you are very much so are. You gotta accept that. Like you said, having a child like in that physical aspect doesn't make you a father. You know, I think that's really deep. So for me, y'all really got me reflecting, because when I wrote this question down, I didn't think about it for me. And then y'all started talking, and then boom, you know, the person came in my head. And so I want to shout out Corey Macy, you know what I'm saying? Lil Macy, you know, this was actually somebody that I would say came in a very challenging time in my life, because I was in like an identity crisis, in the sense of like, I was ready to go into the streets and go into this certain world, but I really didn't know what it. I knew because my family was from it, but I didn't know. Like I was an observer of the streets by this. I'm like 10, you know what I'm saying, 9, 10. I'm an observer of the streets. I'm not in the streets. So the streets look fun. as an observer of as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So he really taught me, that it wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying? And he brought me in certain rooms and took me in certain places that I never tell anybody about. But it showed me and it exposed me and it awakened my mind to certain things and it taught me certain things. And also, to the thing where Corey would literally have me in the corner like this, like a little girl. Like I'm talking about, I'm talking about turn me up. You hear me? I used to hate Corey. You feel me? Because I used to, you know what I'm saying? Used to feel. But I tell you, he made me like. He awakened a warrior. You know what I'm saying? I was so scary and fearful due to other traumas that happened in my childhood that he took that away from me. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, everybody that knows me, y'all know me, bro. Everybody on the panel, y'all, I talk to y'all, continuously been knowing me for years. I'm a very aggressive person. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't really have fear. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, it's not really in my makeup. That came from Corey. And that's it. That might sound crazy, but he really instilled this fearlessness in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was this Bootsy song, and Webby, a Trillion T song, where it basically is like, it's a song we play all the time, but it basically like Webby talking about his homie that something happened to him, he passed, you know what I'm saying? And that he was in the song like, not him. I never think that's possible for him, but that's who he is to me, like that, like to that person that I feel like I feel like physical ability as far as these hands, Jason Statham or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the things that I'm around somebody, I feel like it's like, nigga, I'm with Mike Tyson, nigga, like how you were saying earlier about, you know what I mean? So I can honestly say that, and then today I'm a very big protector over my people, over my family. So, what he instilled in me in that way really stuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
I think it goes back to the beginning of the conversation where we were talking about how you know what to call out in your own child. Other people may not understand it and may not agree with it, right? But he saw something in you and was like, let me pull that out, right? And I don't know anybody else that's so much like me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we've clicked, and whether it's y'all's information or not, we've only met in person once. We've talked
to each other over 5 years. Like,
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like we really recognize each other, but we'll cut for each other because it's like, man, when you meet someone who is aligned with you, it's like, I can breathe, bro. I don't gotta hide nothing. I can be aggressive. I can be vulnerable. I can be straightforward. I can be all these things. I know there's homies that I could be like, my wife is bum, 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 bum. And then they gonna try to say something sideways about my wife, and now we beat, right? Mm-hmm. But I could call him, put on my wife, da-da-da-da. All right, you gonna listen. You gonna understand. And if you gotta check me, you gonna check me. If she wrong, he gonna explain she wrong, but he not gonna belittle nothing I got going on, man. Yeah. And so for that man to see that in you or to call that in you, you have to understand how that chain works, right? So now your legacy is a part of my link because there's things that I've learned from you that I'll teach my kids, which is now part of their link because he linked up with you and decided to put something in you. And so now our reach is bigger because boom, okay, yeah. Oh, you learn this, I learned that. Okay, cool. Now we all know this. And if you need to learn this, go ahead and call Benaya because he know that. Go ahead and call Brandon. You know what I'm saying? But the link is there all because he called out something in you. Because at the end of the day, everybody on this panel, and this is just me giving you your flowers, everybody on this panel is only linked up because of you. Shadow work exists because of you, right? Everybody who's getting healed from shadow work is linked up because of you. So on this Father's Day, I would like to honor the father of Shadow Work Sundays.
Bro, that's deep. You kind of throwing me off guard, bro.
Listen, bro, because that was he was definitely one of the many people I was going to include. Like, it's been monumental in my shit. You dig what I'm saying? And helping me to realize just a lot of things about myself. And through his shadow work that he has with his pops, shadow work that I have with my pops, you know what I'm saying? And just ancestral shadow work, you know what I'm saying? Bloodline like shadow work. And like, besides my pops, like another person that I would like just to commend and even send energy to on the other side is my grandpops. Because one thing that he really instilled. I ain't gonna even say instilled. It was just him as a person. My granddad was a drag car racer, and he raced drag cars, and nothing mattered as far as when he working on his car. Like when he working on his car, no, like if you in there talking shit, if it ain't about the conversation he talking about, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? And just seeing his level of focus and poise, you know what I'm saying? Another thing that he instills is poise in what you're doing. And through that, I've seen examples of that with my pops, and how my pops also inflicted that or instilled that in me as far as with basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like with basketball, my pops instilled poise with courage. You dig what I'm saying? And helped me to understand it's okay to lose in basketball, but that don't mean that you can't win. So a lot of the times he would let me win to help me build that poise of courage to know that I can do these things and have my mind set on anything. So it's like how you was explaining, he took it and made it better, but you know what I'm saying? Not even really conscious of it for real. And it's just like, it's just deep. You know what I'm saying? And another one of my granddads on the other side, just sending energy towards him. One thing that he taught me was agriculture, but at the time I didn't really understand the importance of it. And now looking back at it, now I understand why he was like he had me out there helping him plant collard greens and pick this and pick that. You dig what I'm saying? And just that whole structure in itself as well. Again, poise and just that old school programming of that old head mindset. Like just get up and do something. You dig what I'm saying? And yeah, of course, King. You dig, like we here. You know what I'm saying? It's the energy that you help to alchemize collectively. You know what I'm saying? Is far beyond any shift that we experience on a day-to-day basis, because everybody is always getting hit with shadow work. And just even this seed that you steady just going to and sending light to as far as shadow work and what is birthing, you know what I'm saying? Like I never knew, you know what I'm saying? Of course you talk about your bro sweet, but I never knew, like, damn, you know what I'm saying? He really, you know what I'm saying, to toes with it, you know what I'm saying? Really tapping them in. So it's like, I love that, you know what I'm saying? And it's a great example for me to be a father to my people.
Now I ain't gonna lie, like these it was other people that supposed to have been on her, you know, a few, it's really only like two, you know, and one of them is Satellite. Y'all already know Satellite Kid, you know, that's my bro. So, you know, I'm a very private person, and I think that this is something that you gotta be too. What Bernard was talking about, as a father, you gotta be overprotective about your people, and you gotta be protective about that circle. So, you know, these people that's on her, man, we vibing, and y'all feel the energy, and y'all can connect with these people, and you know, on 100% resonance, is because like Benaya said, we align, you know, in a certain way. It's all about the heart space. If you in the streets, right, it's a certain type of nigga that'll do something, and a certain type of nigga that won't do this. It don't matter what it is, you know what I'm saying? And so most crash dummies are people that don't care, they don't give a damn about anybody, nobody. But people that actually stand on morals, those are more people that end up being OGs, because they end up saying, you know what, I really didn't want to do this the whole time anyway. So we are people, everybody that's around me, honestly, Benaya, King OC, you know what I'm saying? You know, and really besides Satellite, you know what I'm saying, has came from the streets and came from a certain background where everybody looking at on the screen, a million people told them they would be dead today and wouldn't have lived to be nobody's father. You see what I'm saying? And so I feel like, you know, when you got them type of people around you, when you understand that you have preserved souls that have been protected for divine purposes, you can't play with them type of people. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say this to y'all, family: don't play with the people around you, because you end up playing yourself.
Thanks.
You know, me and everybody on this panel have gotten into some real, and I'm gonna exclude Kai right now, because obviously that's a whole different, because it's been, me and you have tapped in, but it's very personal, but it hasn't been as personal as they. It's been raw. I have to talk to you like I talk to them, because you got a different version of me. You know, 5 years ago, I would, man, 3 years ago, I would cut Brandon off and say, bro, now 5 years ago, I was like, bro, what you talking about is irrelevant. Shut up talking to me. I don't give a F what you talking about. I would just be the most ruthless brother ever. Yeah. You know, but they still my brothers.
Hey, the beautiful thing about that is when we were talking about how the kids, how like my son gets a certain version, right? That's Brandon, right? My daughter gets a certain version because I've healed more, right? That's me. And my youngest son, he's getting the best version. That's him. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, to see that in real time,
exactly.
Like, wow. He gets a deeper.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's cool because you'll never have to experience the Brandon version. You'll never have to experience the Benaiah version. We are blessed that we were able to see all the versions, but he was blessed because he was only able to see one version. So
what it was deep.
It's different than what we needed out of you at the time, because he's had, you know, he named more examples, and I peeped game. He named more examples. Even just like watching when y'all do the advertisement, you could tell, okay, he had some people in his life really giving him, right? You could tell that I had some people, but you know what I'm saying? And I genuinely feel like Brandon lacked more people, right? And so you had to be a different version for him. You had to be a different version for me. You had to be a different, you know what I'm saying? So it's just wild to like see that in real time and say, okay, cool. I can honor that, and I can honor that space and say what is manifesting in this podcast right now is exactly what we're talking about. So it's no longer a figment of imagination. Oh, well, maybe he did that with his kid. No, it's like you as the father of the space. I think that this episode had to happen the way it happened, so you can see in real time, hey, you are no longer that person. Like, you're seeing 3 variations of who you used to be, who you are, and it'll be different in the future because it's a growth pattern. It's not you didn't stay stagnant. You know what I'm saying? So
I want to touch on that because that's deep. I was watching the Goddess Live earlier. Her name
He's trying to get me back really for getting them in his feelings earlier. My fault, God.
No, you good. But I was watching her live and she was talking about multidimensional beings, and that's literally what you're talking about. You dig what I'm saying? Being aware that you have different aspects of yourself or different energies of yourself that you embody dealing with certain energies. So that's literally what it means to be a multidimensional being. Like for the guys, I know we got a lot of God energy, you know what I'm saying? It's lit, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's rageful, or sometimes it's pissed off, or sometimes it's understanding that energy and understanding the people around you. Like, for example, I'm just, like I said, next time I see my little cousin, I really got to give him gratitude because the space that he allows for me to have like this father type of energy to him in a sense, because he like can take, it's like he just holds a lot of space for me. Like, I'm just real lit. Anytime that I want to laugh, I know I can go play with him or just play around with him or just annoy him. And every time he asks me, he'd be like, why, bro? Why are you messing with me? Not trying to like really, but I always hear it back. And it's like, why I'm messing with you is because, for one, I need to understand why I need this energy. For two, why are you so like receptive to it? And how we're both holding space for each other in that process of activating that other multidimensional version of ourselves to deal with somebody in a more business-like level or whatever, and understand how to identify that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because we also have it in other people too. Other people do too. So in times where we get triggered, that means that an energy in you that person has isn't activated in you yet. And that trigger is getting pulled so you can't activate it. So I just love that how y'all pulling each other's triggers. You know what I'm saying? And y'all making each other's...
Understand that everybody that you see has a reflection of your father in them. It's just about what you want to see, what you want to be receptive to. Because everybody around you is a reflection of you, and you are a reflection of your father. So, and the difference between these relationships that is being projected back on me in a way that I'm still processing is that we actually embodied that energy amongst each other. We actually, we all knew that we missed certain things from our father, and we would connect with our brothers and actually feed those certain energies. You see what I'm saying? Even unaware, like just doing this subconsciously. So imagine if you do it intentionally. The type of healing, the type of level, because you gotta keep in mind, right? this is the thing about it, right? I don't get information. I don't have everybody around me is intelligent, intuitive, connected with the spirit. I know this about the people around me. And then also, if Brandon, if King OC telling me something that's crazy, I'm like, bro, that's goofy, bro. That is goofy. I'm gonna tell him, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm gonna give y'all an example. This gonna be. Let me see how far can I go with this example. I'm not giving y'all that example. It's my apologies. It's too. It was. I'm trying to think. I can't get. That was too. Okay, put it like this. I'll paraphrase. Say Brandon called me, or I call King OC, and I'm about to do something crazy, right? He'll reflect back on me how stupid, how crazy that is, even though he's my brother. And from what they think about bros and all that, he's going to co-sign whatever I'm rocking with. That's my nigga. That's my. No, I don't want you around me if you got that type of energy. So I would say if you look around, you got yes men around you, then you can't find your father, those certain parts of your father and them from a holistic way, because they yes men.
Facts.
If you're afraid to hurt your partner's feelings, you can never be that. Because I'm not afraid to hurt my kid's feelings. I'm not afraid he gonna be like, you're not my dad no more. Bro, I'm your daddy whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? That's how you should feel about those. Hey, look, I'm gonna hurt your feelings. I'd rather save your life and you be pissed off at me than not be able to do anything. And I think we miss that as a collective, as a unit, as Black people. It's like we want everybody to think we cool, to be happy with us, or this, that, and the third. I want my son to be an L7. That is, I want him to be the nerdiest of nerds. I want him to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want him to have to deal with nothing I've ever dealt with. Thanks. And in order to do that, I got to step on his toes. What he thinks might be cool and I know is detrimental, I got to be able to say, hey, bro, no, that's not what we do. I don't care what they do. I don't care what they follow. This house, now that's not what we do. And as long as you are part of this family, which is forever, my mama used to say 2 things you got to do is be Black and die. Then the third thing you got to do is be my son, regardless. So regardless of what you try to run away from, you're going to take that energy and become what you're trying to avoid because you gave it too much thought, or you're going to take that energy and reroute it and become what I was trying to teach you to become, even in my failure. And so understanding that and putting that into play is like, okay, cool. That's my only job, is to take it and revert it and rewire it to a way that my son can receive it without having to learn the lessons that I had to learn.
I love that. I love that because you talked about having to step on his toes, and sometimes as a son, we look at that as like, you know, why you doing that? You just, you know what I'm saying, just talk. But like now that to be completely transparent, it's like it's 3 of my dads up here, and I'm the 4th one. Like, just sit back, just like, damn. So it's like it's just deep, like, because how you are operating is within the same energy my pop operates with. It's very aggressive, and one thing that I'm struggling with is being okay with hurting people, because sometimes that's what needs to happen so they can understand the message. So understanding that he is doing that to me to help me understand that, hey, I'm trying to give you something that you're running from. You say you don't like hurting people. It's like, I get it, but subconsciously it's a message that you're not seeing in that. You dig what I'm saying? Part of being a masculine energy or a father, you gotta put your foot down. You know what I'm saying? And that's something like I'm just in gratitude for all y'all on here, and just the code, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, dang, it's like, I don't know, it's like King Manifest is like 2 different people, right? It's like this nigga is like, oh no, it's like the Spider-Man, like
hey man.
Hey, but now that's deep, because I think the thing that connected it was the why. And we talked about that too, which is just the why. Like, you feel some type of way about having to step on somebody's toes. And I think that as you're in the process of stepping somebody's toes, ask them why. If they miss this information, is it going to be detrimental to who they are as a person? If it is, what I know to be true is, right, you'll push somebody out the way real quick if they finna get hurt, and you know you've got the time to push them out the way, right? Now they may fall, they may break their arm, they may scrape their face, they may drop their coffee. You don't care about none of that. Now, when they do scrape their arm, get their coffee, you might, I'm gonna help clean you up or whatever the case is. That's the why. But I gotta push you out the way first. I can't explain to you first. I gotta push you out the way. And if you have a conversation and you want to know why, I understand you're mad. I pushed you. You failed. I understand you yelling and you cussing. I pushed you. You failed. I get it. I understand it. And I have to be centered enough in who I am as a person to say, this person is going to yell back. He's going to be upset. But I got to keep my poise. And like you said, that's something that you learned, right? I got to keep my poise. I got to keep my position and say, I pushed you because X, Y, and Z. And if you don't get it, I'm going to push you again. So you are going to get pushed again.
Real talk, man. I have no clue how many times me and King Manifest don't got it. Man, say damn. I can't even count. Like it don't got to the point where it's part of our language. We look back and we laugh at different stories, you know what I'm saying? We talk about it so much, like there's a trust there. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're in that space, you have to gauge if it's positive or negative, and the way it's rapped don't really dictate what you getting. You see what I'm saying? So if you can have, it could be negative and it can look the same way as somebody's doing it in positive. But when you got to trust there, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of space you want to create with your kids and stuff. But to keep saying it, we don't got. There are so many times there's a trust, because when I'm talking to King Manifest, it's like internally talking to yourself. Like if I was by myself, I'm talking and I'm weighing stuff out and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I could be beating myself up. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is when I talk to my brother. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a trust though. It's a trust thing.
Your ability to be able to receive that, right? Because having that and filtering it through another person or hearing it from another person and saying, dang, that speaks to me. We don't do that. Like y'all have to genuinely understand how huge that is as a person and as a community. Say, I'm talking to someone, because we love to say, oh, well, they talking to me too. No, I'm talking to you. I just ain't had nowhere to give this space. So now I'm giving it to my brother. And my brother, whether it's for him or not, he's diligent enough to sit back, listen to it, and filter it through his filtration system and speak on it. To now it's like, oh, I thought I was giving him advice. And in return, I was just thinking about how I'm supposed to handle X, Y, and Z situation. His situation is completely different, but the energy is the same. So what I told him is exactly what I need to be doing. And it's crazy.
I want to say this too, because, because bro went in on this aspect. Y'all gotta understand, we have a G code. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, this was created for me and Brandon's relationship, for me and King OC's relationship. Then it projected to other relationships that I had. But we created a rule, and it was what we call real men talk. And obviously, y'all know we real walk. We create a real walk as us. You know what I'm saying? So real walk, real talk. And so we would make it where it's like, it would be like, you can't call me and tell me that you did something stupid. Or somebody can't call me and tell me you did something stupid, and you didn't call me before you did that stupid thing. That means you was intentionally wanting to be stupid. So now, let's have a stupid conversation.
With your
about everything that you did, and we're gonna, you know what I mean? And so, but like you said, but the fact that we could actually be able to do that. And so I think that men need to hold men more accountable. You know what I'm saying? Real men talk. Let's make that a thing again. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't call your brother, right, and you got a whole bunch of yes men, I'm putting it like this. They got this whole alpha male thing going on out here, which I don't really believe in an alpha and a beta male, because at any time you can be an alpha or a beta from that definition. But from the so-called alpha male perspective, if you got a whole bunch of so-called, alpha males around you, then you lose it. And the reason why, because the alpha male, all they are is for gain of position and they on their purpose of whatever their focus is, right? They're very goal oriented. So if their goal is to keep you around, they gonna finesse you how many other times they can. If you got somebody that's so-called a beta, somebody more in tune with their feelings and can actually speak and express, they're gonna be more direct and more real with you. So I would say, don't weigh your homies based off if they're gonna ride for you or not. Because what is them riding for you in the street fight or shooting some niggas got to do with the information and the wisdom they're gonna give you when you're going through with your daughter or your son, or whenever your mama is going through it, and whenever you need advice on whenever the world is calling you to be a real man. You can't depend on these niggas. You ain't gonna go jump your mama. You trying to have a good conversation with your mama.
I think that, like, when I heard you talk, all I heard was the ability to be a man is the ability to recognize that you will forever be a child. Exactly. And seeing that and understanding that, it's like, okay, I gotta be big, right? But I also gotta be able to nurture. I gotta be able to see things. It's not always boom, 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 boom. Sometimes it's, I'm sitting down, I'm chilling. Sometimes it's, I'm in my feelings. Sometimes I'm having an emotional conversation. And that's what you look at a child. You tell a child, hey, I'm Superman, let's walk past this dog that you're afraid of. What that child gonna do? He's gonna put his chest out. He's gonna walk confident, right? Because he knows who his father is, right? He's gonna do that. He understands that his father's gonna protect him, right? But also that same child will be cuddled up with mama because he got a splinter in his foot. Right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He need to be held by mama. Mm-hmm. And so many times we need a mama's hug, right? And that's because we don't understand the power of a father's hug. Mama you feel nurtured. Daddy you feel protected and nurtured if he does it correctly. So I think you should gauge your friends on the ability to be a child. Can you tap into the nurturing side? I didn't cry to my homies before. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I needed my homie to just give me that strong hug. Like, hey, bro, I got you, bro. And I can break down. And what is he going to do? He going to hold me and protect me. You know what I'm saying? And talk to me and speak life into me and build me up. But also, when he released, he don't see me any different because my child met his father. And that's what hugged at that time. And now when we disconnect, we can both walk out in that father figure without me ever feeling like, oh, I was too vulnerable with him. He's gonna use that against me.
Bro, you saying some this dangerous information. This is what they don't want us to hear. This is what they do not want us to hear, bro. Say, because when we start connecting like that, you know what I'm saying? But that's that fish. You know what I'm saying? And man, that's how me and bro been able to be so strong. Cause man, we had to go through it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, when I tell you, like, I'm gonna go there for a hot second. I don't know if we tell the story. I'll let you go into that if you feel. But I'm gonna just lay the foundation. Me and bro have been in situations to the point where, you know, like I said, we saved my life in many ways. You know, as far as my marriage, you know, we done been locked up together. We done been in so much. Anything you can think of, you know, it's kind of weird, you know, to really think about it. But when I tell you, it's been a situation, you know, a specific situation where my life could have been, or really, you know, my life could have been ended at that time on that day if he didn't come and protect me. But also, his life could have ended that day and never been the same because of him coming to protect me.
Man,
and so, you know, let's go. You know, because I want to show y'all something. You know, because this episode, and we're gonna close it here. But this episode is about Father's Day, but we also talking about the love of a man and being able to love in a holistic way, and brothers, and how a lot of us don't have our fathers, but we got each other. So how can we holistically have each other from the right way, not from a nigga way, but from a God way? You know what I'm saying? So me and bro was ministers. You know what I'm saying? We were ordained ministers, Christian. You know what I'm saying? Christianity tapped in, doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? Standing strong, and we would do basketball ministry. As a lot of churches and a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, we hoop in the hood. So it's easy for us to connect and come and hoop. So we was all about building relationships. So we at the court, we hooping. We in the hood, we in the trenches. We not hooping like in the nice area. You know what I'm saying? We hooping with our people. Like niggas out here gang banging and selling dope. We out here with them. You know what I'm saying? With our people. So Bro, go to the car to get Gatorades because what we do, we bring water and Gatorade. Bro, go to the car to get the Gatorades. Dude still out for me. You know what I'm saying? Boom, we end up boxing. I got started getting hit by multiple people. Everybody on the court started hitting me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna speak on another situation that happened. We're gonna let that be, but you know that the error that was there, we'll let that be. But so point is that I started to I'm fighting all these people. Next thing you know, I see my bro over here. He on the court. Last time I saw him, he was way in the parking lot, which is like
it's far.
It's far as hell away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so he had to run to me literally to even be able. So boom, now me and bro are fighting. We doing our thing. We both we got 5 or 6 people on us at a piece. It's crazy. Next thing you know, here come my bro, hold me like this. We walking through the field, that same field he ran through. More cars pull up. Now we already fighting like 12 people. More cars pull up. Now we fighting like 20 people.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? We separate again. You know, now at this point, I'm down. I'm getting stumped. I'm getting stumped out. You know what I'm saying? At this moment, just to go in on the goddess for a quick second too, my wife comes and pushes 5 niggas off me that's stumping me. My wife. You know what I'm saying? We get back up. We keep on doing, we keep on fighting, we keep doing what we're doing. We finally get out of there. When we leave, cause this is important. My life could have been different. My life could have changed right there. Everybody around me. I was ready to go back. I was ready to make some phone calls. I went back. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what gotta happen. Niggas gotta get it. I was in a different headspace. No, and all we had, but then between how many people, nothing happened, but I know the feeling a little bit. We was looking at each other like, bro, you know what I'm saying? We got it. We was lit. But I was mad. I was angry. I was ready to kill. Bro looked me in my eyes and said, that's not true. He kept grabbing me, shaking me. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. You see what I'm saying? What if he would have told me, nah, bro, we finna ride on these niggas? What if he would have told me, we both had wives. That was the first time we took our wives to the court. Both of our wives was there and his son that he been talking about. So everything could have been out the window. Guess what? We say, we're gonna leave the city, y'all. Let's leave the city. Let's go to the zoo. Let's go look at the animals. Let's go to the zoo. Let's go. When bro pull up in my house, he can't talk to me. He can't talk at all. All he's saying is, I am my brother's keeper. He just keep quoting the scripture, but he can't talk. This fight, my nigga can't talk to me, bro. So we drive all the way to a trauma hospital. So many things happened, and we made it through that. And my point is that bro was in college. Genius. This guy is a genius. He couldn't go to school for 3 weeks, like a month. He had finals. He had a test he finna take. All that for me. You see what I'm saying? So my point is that, you know what I'm saying, like, all that gangster stuff is whack. But real riding for your brother and loyalty and love, that is a real thing. But you don't gotta be an ignorant nigga to do that. Because bro did that for me, and he was there and he filled in the gap, and he was a protector with my big bro. And it wasn't no gangster, no nigga stuff. Right after he snapped into that warrior, he snapped back and said, no, bro, we got families. We men. And that's important. Eesh. I know I just went in, but I had to show that.
Eesh.
Yeah. You be trying to get people in their feelings. You ain't getting
man, I was like, hold up.
Yeah, because I want you to understand that the people on here that we've been through real stuff, y'all. It's not fake, and you can make it through it. My brother been through hell. I've been through hell. Kyle been through hell, but now I've been through hell. And y'all, I'm pretty sure at some point everybody has said something to inspire you. Just know it was a day we couldn't inspire our damn self.
Man.
That's all I want them to get. That it's possible.
Man, I'm talking about living in the same apartment for a brief moment and getting on each other because we keep saying nothing but negativity. It's like, no, man. So, and then it just, we together have to start the positivity back to get us rolling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So look, this is what we're gonna close on this note, right? The love of a father doesn't start with being a father. It starts with being a man. And like Benaya said, the man can only be great as the child. So understand as a grown man, you might need to go cry with your inner child. You might need to go back and reflect on your childhood and the things that people said to you, they did to you, because you feel like you got to be this aggressive being. When I was walking around just being this angry man, I really was fearful. So to all the guys, to all the men, to all the fathers, go tap in with your inner child and tap in on what do you fear. That way you don't project that fear and you don't love your child out of fear. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, the children are the way and the light and the truth in that way. Because guess what? They are the future. They are literally a projection of you that can turn into anything. You know, I appreciate you, Benaya. We're going to tap in on the Benaya example far as taking his son to Italy. He said it's going to be one night. Nice. And we're going to eat some spaghetti. I ain't even got that much bread. We got time for one meal. We're going to fast the whole time we here. We're going to eat this spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? We went to Italy. And I made it happen. Let's have that type of manifestation and faith and abundance in our relationships with our fathers and with our children.
Yeah, I see.
So happy Father's Day. Hey, all the fathers, hey, if you got a goddess, go and get your, your feet soaked, you know what I'm saying? Do something real holistic tonight, you know what I'm saying? The back rub, little
she
massage.
Just ordered me 40 barbecue wings. I'm finna go. Hey.
You hear me?
No, for sure.
So we out there tapping with y'all next Sunday per usual. Much gratitude to the tribe. Much gratitude, to the mothers and to the children that actually let us take the time to tap in with y'all fathers on Father's Day. And much gratitude to y'all for taking away y'all valuable time to come tap in with us.
No, for sure, definitely.
Man, I appreciate the invitation, man. Appreciate it.
Facts, big facts.
Nah, for sure, man. I just want to say to both of y'all, like, me and Ken, we be having some deep cosmic talks. You know what I'm saying? Y'all them for sure. Like, whatever that means to you, y'all, like, it's like that. It's like that.
That's what's up. I'm him.
Yeah.
Hey, look, the next album is actually called Himothy.
What? Mama, there go that man again.
Oh yeah, actually, real quick before we get out of here, Benaya, where can they find your music at and whatever you got going on?
Anywhere music is found, you can find it. Just type in Benaya. What I will say is tap into the Instagram because there's some things that I'm about to be exposing in the next couple weeks. Plan on making an actual video, silent film, something that's going to speak to a lot of people. And it's really just the shadow work of my life in film form. And it's something that you can just tap into. You can listen to it on silent with your eyes, or you can turn the volume up and listen to it with your ears. And it's going to give you that same message, that same feeling. And the goal is to heal as I heal, learn from my mistakes. And as I'm healing, you heal also. And all you have to do is look at the example that'll forever be out there and press play and say, let me do what he didn't do.
How you spell your name, bro?
Benxiah. It is Benaya, not Benziah. Benaya. You know what I'm saying?
And also, if y'all want some gems, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got an uncle. We all talked about an uncle tonight. You ain't got an uncle. Tap in with Uncle B. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yes, sir.
No,
you know, King OC, I'm gonna say this real quick, for him, just to kind of vouch and let y'all know, my brother, we actually did a lot of music together that we weren't able to record. You know what I'm saying? We were sitting in the car for 6 to 8 hours writing projects. Back in that time, we were trying to manifest a studio. But he is an artist, you know what I'm saying? He will be dropping a lot of music real soon. And also me and him about to start a podcast. I'm gonna go and say that, so y'all get ready. We about to tap in on some of them stories. I gave y'all a glimpse of that Blood Brother story, but that's what we about to tap in on, that type of energy. So y'all be on the lookout as well.
I see.
Can't wait for that.
You know what I'm saying? King OC. Oh yeah, real quick. What that OC stand for?
Overcomer.
You did.
Winter, summer, fall.
I thought he was finna say on crazy. But no, for
King don't
overcome it though.
That's hard.
King of C, man. Say you can't overcome until you under something. You feel me? That shadow work for the rest of the time. Overcomer for the rest of this life.
Say the last thing you just said. You can't overcome.
You can't overcome nothing unless you under something.
Exactly.
Candlelight in the rising, and I feel amazing. Preparation for Earth.
And finally, bro, I'm ready to turn this ring light off.
Man, no. Facts, bro. Hey, we still going live Saturday, bro?
What you talking about, G?
Bro, we supposed to be grounding the sound every Saturday at 10:10.
Oh yeah, 10:10. You sure right, bro. We definitely got to do that. You know, how about this? We start this Saturday. You know, this coming up Saturday, and we just rock out like we've been doing.
I say, nah, we definitely could do that. You know what I'm saying? So every Saturday at 10:10 a.m., we are grounding the sound. Everything you've been going through stressfully throughout this week, today, this Saturday is where you're able to get some alleviation.
Also, if you have just started your healing journey or your shadow work journey, and you feel like, man, they moving the light work, and I still need to learn more about my shadow. Understand we are always going to be doing shadow work, but in this process of light work, go back and tap in on those past episodes, because this is podcast, not podcast. Let's get it.
So anytime that you see us going live on Sunday for Shadow Work Sundays, the previous day, Saturday, is where we will be grounding the sound on Instagram Live. So it's easily accessible for each and every one of you. So make sure y'all tap in every Saturday on Instagram Live at I Am King Manifest 777, at Khalil on Instagram at 10:10 a.m. to ground the sound. I shake.
Peace.
Candlelight.